Sure glad it was a 7 o'clock game. Maybe I should have wished it was a 9 o'clock game. Maybe some of y'all would have gone home. Steve and I were just talking, and he made a statement that I could almost agree with. He says he doesn't know if he can tell me much about the game, and I don't know if I can tell you much about the game. I don't know that I've ever felt as much stress over a regular season game as I did tonight. As soon as I got on the plane coming back from Virginia, I started feeling that because I just wanted Bryce and Marcus and Joel so much to win their last home game. That was maybe more important to me than any game I've ever been involved with. Bryce, big rebound. I know we missed a shot, and he got a big rebound there and put the ball back in. Joel made the big free throws. We got a good stop on the other end. Joel got a rebound. Throughout the course of the game, we were trying to manage because we had Bryce and Isaiah, both 2 fouls early in the game, and didn't want them to get their third, so they didn't play many minutes. And then we played them, and they picked up the third, and then I'm trying to decide how long to leave them out. So it was probably more stress managing the game tonight than I can ever remember just because of the other stuff. But Syracuse's zone was really effective tonight. We may have been too emotional, who knows. Don't know the answer to that. If I did, we would have fixed it already. But some of the things that we did, I think, again, some big offensive rebounds at the end. I think, and then Isaiah and Bryce both made big plays inside. But it was extremely important to me for those 3 guys to go out with a win. And in some ways, you heard me say, or maybe you didn't, probably had something better to do. But that team has been extremely important to me because of all the stuff that we've had to handle, and it's been very difficult. But every day when I've gone out on the court, those guys have been there, and they've sometimes very enthusiastically wanted me to help them, and sometimes not quite as enthusiastically. But I've loved coaching that team. And those 3 seniors, again, very unique individuals. Joel's grown up, not physically, but grown up right in front of my eyes. He's been one of the most mature youngsters that I've ever known in my life, and I would have adopted him the first day, and I would still adopt him. I just don't know if I've ever coached anybody that's been more impressive than he has. Bryce, I've pushed, and he's done some amazing things this year. Offensively, I do. It's on one hand the number of people that I've ever coached in 28 years that's been able to do the things that Bryce Johnson has done. Points and rebounds, and I want him to give more defensively, and I want him to give more, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to still do that, but he's been pretty doggone impressive with some of the things he's done. And Marcus is a young man that's felt the weight of the world on his shoulders for 4 years, that he's had to do so much, and his freshman year people didn't think he was quite good enough, and I kept thinking, you guys just wait. And in his sophomore year, he felt like he had to make every play, and last year he was hurt and tried every day, and then this year it hasn't been as smooth as he wanted. But I've never coached a young man that I've admired more than I've admired Marcus Page. And so to me the day was about winning. I didn't care how. I didn't care if we shot the ball well. I didn't care if we rebounded it well. I just wanted to look up on the clock and see that we had more. So if that's boring, that's good. We can leave the meeting right now. But if just understand, if you ask any questions, I have no freaking idea if I'm going to give you a good answer or not.
Can I ask you a question about your seniors? Answers there. In them being the guys you can come to for the past 4 years, how helpful has it been to have solace in 3 guys who are so different?
Mm-hmm. They are different, and they're unique is the word I use, but the best part, and I said this in the locker room, is deep down in their soul, they're just wonderful, wonderful kids. And they really wanted the same thing that I've wanted. And that's been neat. And Marcus, the leadership that he's shown, and Bryce and Joel respect him so much, and yet he's deferred to them and given them a say. But it is a unique group.
Well, you talked about how much they've done for you, helping you through these. How much did you have to help them through it in terms of, just maybe their ignorance of what's going on?
There's no way I helped them as much as they helped me. I had to give them enough information to say that we're going to be all right. In men's basketball, we're going to be all right. And, those guys, we've won 99 games, and we still get a chance to play some more. And most programs in the country would accept that and be thrilled. And but the way they've helped me is they trusted me. And, Joel, Barry, and Theo, and Justin were highly recruited kids. And they trusted me. They all three of them committed before the stuff started. And they trusted me and believed in me and our program when some other kids didn't feel like they could do that. And so they've given me so much more. Like I say, the only thing I could give them was just enough information and ask them to believe me that we were going to be okay and we were going to be able to play in tournaments and we were going to be able to do those things and we were going to be able to represent the university.
Well, Andrew, you got one?
Well, you said you might have spoken at one other senior day. Do you remember which one that was or what?
No, I was just thinking it one night somebody handed me a microphone. The funniest senior day event probably was, they've been hard for me. I want our crowd to cheer for an hour. I want everybody to be freaking crying and show those kids how much they care for them. I remember Phil Ford's senior day, when he was crying. I remember at Kansas in '97, Jock Vaughn, Scott Pollard, and those guys and all the fans came and threw roses on the floor at the end of the game. I still have that picture upstairs in my office. And the speech that Jock gave about the family and the things he said about me, I've never forgotten that. But the funniest one to me was CB, because CB broke down during his talk, and this idiotic cameraman got right up underneath him. And if I could have, I would have choked him. Okay, I really would have, but I found out the best thing because I saw the cord running, and I went over and on this end line, and I grabbed the cord, and he's trying to hold that camera, and I reeled his butt in as far as I could. Get out of my young man's space. You have no right to be there. And so that was the funniest. But I think I've said something to one other, but I'm not sure.
Roy, given the past 4 years and all that you talked about and the importance of tonight, Bryce on Saturday talked about how he just really wants the championship. He hasn't done that yet. Does that place greater pressure on you? Do you feel that pressure for the next couple weeks to get something done?
That's pressure I like. I'd hate to be in a situation where we had no chance. But I've been fortunate, guys. I've led a great career professionally, and I want those kids to have some of those feelings. I really do. It's not, Roy's really gracious. That's a bunch of junk. I'm just being truthful. I've got some championship rings, some conference rings, and all that stuff. But I would give so much if those kids could get something like that.
What do you think of Syracuse's ability to keep kind of staying in the game, and how'd you kind of, close it out?
Well, I think they came in very motivated, 9-7. And they think they have a chance to be in the tournament, and I do also. They started out 0-4 in the league. They've been 7-3 since then. So they were playing. They were motivated. Trevor Cooney is one of the toughest kids I've ever competed against, and Michael made a bunch of shots tonight. We couldn't keep Robertson off the boards, but it was. And Jimmy, Jimmy's fought some battles. He knows exactly what I'm going through, and I know what he's going through. So they were very motivated, and they did some things that really made it extremely difficult for us, and we were fortunate to get through it.
You talk about everything that Marcus has been through over the last 4 years. Have you ever had another player who's almost faced like a different type of adversity every year over the course of 4 years?
No, not that I can think of, but it's we've lived a blessed, or I've lived a blessed life, but he's just a special kid. Roy Williams' life has been greatly enhanced by being able to coach that kid, because as he said, he came thinking that he was going to be behind Kendall, and I did too, and Kendall did. And Kendall was so great his sophomore year, it was the best thing for him to do to leave, but to start of that season, Kendall wasn't expecting that. But so some kids shy away from competition. Well, I don't want to go there. They've already got a point guard. They've already got a power forward, or all this kind of nonsense. But Kendall was going to be there, and we thought he was. And Marcus was a little bit like Tyler Hansbrough. Tyler Hansbrough signed with us when he thought Sean May and Marvin Williams were both going to be back. And so I just appreciate that confidence in themselves. But, I'm just a much better coach in person.
Before the game started, Bryce and Marcus and Joe all walked down and gave you a hug, and it looked like you had a special embrace with Bryce. What did you guys say to each other?
I'm not going to share what we say. Those are special moments. And as a coach, sometimes you should be paid 10 times more. But sometimes you're the luckiest person in the world too. That's pretty good.
Anybody else for Coach?
You closed the game with Isaiah and Johnson in there. Was that, did you feel, the best line for this game, or is that going forward kind of?
That's what we had is best matched up with them. I mean, DeJuan got in foul trouble, so they got 5 perimeter guys out there basically. Leiden's a great three-point shooter. Terry's hard to handle with his athleticism around the board. And, Kennedy gave us some good moments. He really did. But the more, when we were ahead, the more they spread, and all of a sudden now it's going to be, they shot 23 points. That may be the first time we've ever shot more threes than anybody else. But, what it was then is they were spreading us and either driving to kick for 3 or trying to drive us all the way to the basket. And so it was the best lineup for us at that time. I'm always comfortable with Bryce and Isaiah in the game together. I just not comfortable with it too long because they make so daggum many fouls. So I don't want them over there with me.